Omi of the Stars. The Adventures of Barrios. Today, I want to introduce to you an extraterrestrial boy, a little alien named Omi, who looks like a human. Omi is the protagonist of a book. Many people who have read the book say it is a beautiful fairy tale. However, the author, Enrique Barrios, claims that in 100 or 200 years, people will better understand the meaning of this book, and no one will call it a fairy tale anymore. Barrios, born in Chile in 1945, has been curious about the existence of humanity since he was a child, and always sought answers to the mysteries of life. Before the age of 39, he traveled to many places and saw many sights, but the answer remained elusive. It wasn't until one late night when he was attacked by a thug with a knife. Just as he was about to be struck, the thug suddenly turned and ran away. Barrios returned home completely unharmed. After that night, Barrios felt that his mind had opened. He said the answer he had been seeking since childhood had appeared, and that answer was love. Without any previous writing experience, he began writing a book, and remarkably, completed it in just 8 days. Once published, the book quickly became a bestseller worldwide. The Chilean Ministry of Education listed it as a textbook, and Pope John Paul II blessed Barrios. Despite his overnight fame, Barrios disappeared into an unnamed island in Spain, out of public view. However, he continued writing, and his book still sold well. The seaside encounter? Now, let's get back to the book. The title of the book is Omi of the Stars. The two main characters, Earth Boy Pedro and Alien Boy Omi, met on a rock by the sea. As soon as Omi introduced himself, he claimed to be an extraterrestrial. However, Pedro didn't believe him at all, because this little boy looked nothing like the ugly aliens from the movies. But Omi had a way to convince him. He took out a mini television from his waist. This television could show any TV program or landscape from anywhere in the world, and it even had a function, allowing Pedro to see his grandmother, who lived with him, peacefully sleeping at home. Pedro's heart was quickly captured, and he asked Omi for the device. Omi refused, saying that such a device would be misused by Earthlings. Pedro then asked if Earthlings would ever be able to create such a mini television in the future. Omi, with a serious expression and sadness in his eyes, replied, "I don't know." He continued, "On your Earth, the relationship between science and love is seriously tilted toward science. There are millions of civilizations like Earth that have self-destructed because of this." He explained that Earth was currently in a dangerous and sensitive moment. Omi's words frightened Pedro. Before this, the 9-year-old boy had never considered the possibility of a third world war or some catastrophic event. But soon, Pedro found a solution. Since there were high-tech aliens, he could ask them to maintain order. He would persuade the world's leaders to turn weapons into tools for production. If they didn't listen, the aliens could simply take over Earth, destroy the bombs, and force humans to live peacefully. Omi shook his head and smiled, saying that was the Earthling way of thinking. "We don't fight because we revere God. What God has taught us is love. Our technology serves love." He went on to explain that, just as Earth has laws, the universe also has universal laws. One of which is that a civilized planet cannot interfere with the development of a less advanced world. This principle of non-interference also explained why they never revealed themselves to humans, even though their ships had been flying over Earth for a long time. It wasn't until the first atomic bomb appeared that they decided to show themselves. Omi said this was to let humans know that they were not the only intelligent beings in the universe and should not behave recklessly. Why do aliens care so much about atomic bombs? Omi explained that the entire universe is a living organism where everything interacts with each other. So, even though they could not interfere, they could not ignore any scientific inventions on a planet that was not highly developed. Some advanced energies, such as atomic energy, could upset the balance of the galaxy if misused by evil people. This would also affect their planet. They came to warn humanity, helping not only themselves, but also the rest of the universe. The development of the UFO phenomenon over the past 70 years seems to corroborate Omi's statements. After the two atomic bombs exploded in Japan in 1945, UFO sightings began to increase worldwide since 1947. The UFO craze, which started in the United States, spread across the globe and continues to this day. Many witnesses have said that UFOs suddenly appear and then disappear, as if playing a game of hide-and-seek with humans. The game of hide-and-seek. Speaking of which, Omi invited Pietro to experience the game of hide-and-seek by taking a trip on a spaceship. Pietro happily agreed. Once aboard the ship, Omi showed him a red indicator light on the ship's control panel. Omi explained that when the light was on, people below could see the ship. When the light went off, the ship became invisible. It was that simple. Omi explained that the principle of invisibility was also simple. It was like the axle of a bicycle. When the wheels spin fast enough, the axles seem to become transparent and invisible. For the spaceship, when it becomes invisible, its physical molecules spin rapidly. How this is achieved depends on the aliens' advanced technology. However, whether or not they appear must be decided by the control center's instructions. Omi first took Pietro to Africa to see the sunrise, then to India to see a cow. Suddenly, they received an instruction to go to Alaska. They soon arrived at their destination. The red light came on, and the show began. The spaceship continuously changed colors, drawing a large triangle in the sky, eventually catching the attention of a hunter in the nearby forest. Omi explained that the hunter had been specially chosen, and they hoped he would testify after seeing the spaceship. The hunter's figure appeared on another screen, and a beautiful golden light glowed from his chest. That golden light represented the hunter's love level, which was about 750 degrees. What does 750 degrees mean? It means his love is pure. Low-level animals, like fish, only have 100 degrees. Omi said his own love level was 760 degrees. However, some noble people on Earth could reach 800 degrees, having even more love than he did. As they continued their journey, they arrived in Tokyo. The streets were becoming crowded, with people pointing at the spaceship. A man and woman on the sidewalk suddenly knelt and prayed to the ship, wanting to board. Omi said this was not encouraged. They should not transfer their reverence for God to aliens. If aliens accepted this misdirected worship, attempting to usurp God's position, the consequences would be dire, because only God could be worshipped as God in the universe. Pietro, puzzled, asked why, if God teaches love, he doesn't stop the cruelty happening every day on Earth, such as wars and the brutal laws of nature. Omi explained that it wasn't that God was unkind, but that God arranges each person's fate. Everyone must ultimately learn how to live according to the guidance of love through their own experiences. He gave his own example. In his past lives, he had been a beast, killed by other beasts. Reincarnated as a human, but at a low level of intelligence, killed others, and was killed in return. He had suffered many forms of life before learning the peaceful way of living he now followed. This process of improvement cannot be interfered with by others. The planet 04. However, when other planets face major disasters, Omi and his kind would intervene. For example, about 10,000 years ago, when the Atlantis continent sank, Omi's people saved a group of talented individuals and relocated them to another planet called Ophir. Omi described the sinking of Atlantis as a tragic event caused by radiation from human-made sources and powerful weapon explosions, which Earth could not bear, ultimately sinking the entire continent. Omi warned that if Earthlings continue nuclear tests and create injustice, inequality, and unfortunate events, Earth may not be able to withstand such disasters again. And similar sinking events may still occur. However, those who have reached a love level of 700 degrees or higher might be spared, because Omi and his people would evacuate them to another planet, just as they had rescued the Atlanteans. Whether 10,000 years ago or 10,000 years in the future, the 700-degree threshold would remain the same. Pietro was curious about what kind of person could reach 700 degrees. Omi explained that such people are selflessly motivated by love, wishing happiness for others. During the journey, Omi had planned for Pietro. Offer was one of the stops. The scenery there was as beautiful as paradise. The Etherians were very tall, about twice the height of humans. Each had long, narrow eyes, resembling the ancient Egyptians depicted in paintings. They lived a pastoral life, without nations, police, or the concept of money. Many things were shared, including spacecraft. Pietro thought they lived like primitive people, but Omi said it was a highly developed society. They also worked, but not for money, instead finding happiness in serving others. In their spare time, they enjoyed various forms of entertainment, such as watching performances and eating banquets. Some of them chose to practice meditation in their free time. Pietro saw them floating in the air, their eyes closed, faces smiling, and expressions focused. Omi said they were using the most powerful force in the universe, the power of love, for self-exercise. It was love's power that lifted them into the air. Their love levels were around 1,000 degrees. Earth's self-salvation. However, 1,000 degrees wasn't the highest. There were planets with even purer love. For example, the residents of the Sun had love levels exceeding 10,000 degrees. Each person nearly pure in love. Despite the extreme heat of the Sun, they were not burned. Omi explained that their bodies were composed of radiant energy. Some of them sent telepathic messages to planets that were less developed in the galaxy. Pietro saw them sitting cross-legged, looking as though they were deep in thought or praying. With Omi's guidance, Pietro received these messages. The essence of the message was, everything without love will be destroyed, forgotten, and despised. Everything with love will remain strong, thrive, and never be destroyed. This is my covenant, my promise and law, Omi said. Omi explained that these messages came from God and could help humans create a new world. This made Pietro hopeful. If humans received these messages, could Earth also have a new world? Omi said it was possible. Because the radiation from the universe was becoming purer. The energy had already caused huge changes in the hearts of millions of people. In time, when Earthlings strengthen their preparations, a leap forward will happen, and they will live just like the Etherians. But the time is not yet right. This is because Earthlings are still following outdated concepts. However, more and more people were striving to improve themselves. Earth is changing at a rapid pace, so there is still hope. Omi's words reassured Pietro. Just in time, they arrived back home. Despite traveling to so many places, it had only taken one night. On the way back to Earth, they passed through a rose-colored space. Pietro suddenly fell into a dream and saw a girl with sky-blue skin and beautiful black hair, with a black mole on her forehead. He felt like he had been waiting for her for thousands of years. Just as they were about to hold hands, everything disappeared. Pietro felt frustrated. Omi laughed and said he had seen his future. As for the girl, where is she now? Would they truly meet in the future? A year later, they met again. However, Omi brought a new companion, a girl from the planet Chi, named Vinka. Do you remember the girl Pietro saw at the end of the last chapter? The one he met in the future. New team member Vinka. Omi said to them, even though you two were born on a planet with an underdeveloped civilization, your souls both come from a higher civilization. You reincarnated on that planet to help its people. This is because both of those planets are about to face saddening events. Scientific and technological development is destroying nature, and the negative energy from humanity is affecting the planet's energetic layers. This makes the originally slow-paced planetary evolution become violent, leading to various geological and climatic changes. Earthquakes, insect infestations, floods, and various infectious diseases will follow. sending humanity down the path of self-destruction. But not all hope is lost. If humanity can unite and start living according to universal laws, that is, based on love, then it may be possible to change the current situation. And perhaps even begin to enter a new world, like heaven. Although some advanced civilizations have seen this coming, they cannot directly intervene on a large scale. It's like a good student writing an exam for a poor student. It's not allowed by the universal laws. Still, they can't just watch others run toward a cliff without doing anything, right? So, they formed a universal friendship alliance to provide covert assistance. One of their projects is sending peace missions to reincarnate on this planet and teach by example, helping humanity shift its thinking. Ami said that Pedro and Vinka are part of this mission. Writing books to share their extraterrestrial experiences widely among humans is one of their tasks. Speaking of extraterrestrial experiences, what mysterious cosmic spaces will this journey take them to this time? The dancing galaxy, Ami said. Let's first go see the galaxy dance. As he spoke, the view outside the spaceship quickly changed. Countless spiral-shaped, colorful clusters of stars were scattered across the sky. Each star cluster looked like a puff of colorful mist. Some resembled cotton candy, others looked like flames, fireworks exploding suddenly, or ripples on water slowly dissipating. Some stars emitted low humming sounds, others sounded like train whistles. Some gave off crisp tones like harp strings. Together, these sounds resembled an orchestral concerto, perfectly harmonious in both melody and rhythm. All the star clusters eventually formed a massive spiral, continuously expanding outward, like a giant jellyfish growing in the universe, extending its glittering tentacles in every direction. The more Pedro watched, the more he felt the galaxy was alive, with its own consciousness and rhythm. Ami agreed and said this whole galaxy is like a majestic giant. But Vinka disagreed. How can a group of stars be alive? Ami smiled and said, what if one day, a cell from your liver escaped your body, stood in front of you and said, you are not a living being because you have no cell membrane or nucleus? How would you feel? In front of the galaxy, we are smaller than cells, like a drop in the ocean. Can a single drop understand the whole ocean? But Ami clarified that what they saw wasn't real. It was a projection video compressing billions of years of galactic movement into a few minutes. The spaceship hadn't moved yet. Now we're really setting off, he said. Where to? Underground, to see how advanced civilizations help resolve earthquake crises.
Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Share it, because some stories are meant to be discovered together. And stay curious. I'll see you in the next chapter.